Our boy Wusung straight up conquers the entire martial arts world like it's a speedrun. People also call him Zhang Hu, but his main flex, the Fist King, because this man only throws hands literally. Nobody can touch him, but one day a bunch of demonic faction goons try pulling a sneak attack. Big mistake, he deletes most of them, leaving only 2 alive. These 2 built different. They don't even care about friendly fire, they'll happily kill their own squad. All just to get what they want, cold-blooded stuff. Their cruelty, plus the creepy insignia on their weapons, instantly exposes who they really are to Wusung. So our guy dashes in, saying he'll finish one off in exactly 10 hits. But plot twist, every strike lands yet somehow avoids the kill points. Why? Because his buddy over there has him strung up in razor-thin threads puppet style. He's already thrown 9 strikes, but the string master tightens the trap, locking him down, just in time for the sword guy to stab straight through him. Even on death's doorstep, bro doesn't flinch. He still swings that final 10th strike, and plants it right on the dude's jaw, peak Fist King moment. And with that, Wusung's legendary run comes to an end. His last thought, wishing he had one more punch left in him. Except plot armor alert, he wakes up, but now inside the Juhua safe house as Lee Jinian. Eldest son of the massive Yunha merchant group, Nepo baby reborn basically. First thing he does is check for wounds, but surprise, dude's body is squeaky clean. Then he glances in the mirror and freezes. His first thought, yo, someone slapped a mask on me. But now, after poking around, he realizes this is his actual new face. Once the maids leave to fetch a doctor, he decides to figure out the situation on his own. Starts searching around the room, but just moving makes him realize this new body is weak as hell. Like walking around feels like a raid boss challenge. Eventually, he stumbles on a journal labeled Yunha Merchant Group. Turns out this group runs Juhua Mountain, rich and powerful. After skimming the entries, he confirms, yup, he's stuck in the body of Lee Jinian. And judging by all the messy letters about women and gambling, this guy was a total clown. Dan concludes the obvious. He's reincarnated as Lee Jinian, certified scumbag. Right then, his physician Gong Sun strolls in with a fox grin, sneakily trying to check his pulse. Wusung, now Jinian, pulls his hand away, all like, I'm good, chill. Then this snake doctor offers him some dragon and phoenix soup. Calls it a tonic, of course. But reality check, it's straight poison for a sickly body like Jinian's. Instead of calling him out right away, Jinian plays it cool, trying to figure out how long it's been since his death as Wusung. His math, not long, meaning his enemies are still alive. Thinking about his shady doc, and his old enemies, our boy vows to erase all of them with his second life. Days pass. One morning, his maids prep breakfast like it's a festival, hyped that he'll finally eat real food instead of just porridge. One tells the others to hurry before he gets back from his walk. But mid-sentence, the door opens, Jinian walks in. He checks the food and says, keep it simple like this from now on. Then heads back to his room like a boss. One maid notices he's looking healthier, and the others quickly agree. After a bit, Jinian finally starts eating. And boom, the fox snake Dr. Gongsun Meng shows up to ruin breakfast vibes. Jinian, annoyed, lets him in anyway. Gongsun senses the attitude, but slaps on his trademark fake grin and greets him. Jinian eyes him hard, knowing this guy only shows up when he's scheming. A smirk creeps across Jinian's face. He's about to bait him into confessing. So casually, he asks why Gongsun's here. Gongsun goes into Oscar-worthy melodrama, whining about loneliness, then throwing shade at Jinian's complexion. Smooth, backhanded insult. That gets Jinian's attention. He claps back, joking that Gongsun must be trying to push that dragon phoenix soup again. Gongsun panics. He didn't expect Jinian to know. He scrambles, insisting the soup is just a tonic. Jinian drops it flat, now it's poison. Gongsun reminds him he's the physician, sweating bullets now. He suddenly tries to bounce, saying if he's not needed he'll just leave. But before he takes a step, Jinian's cold voice cuts him off. He asks if Gongsun thinks he's the master here, barging in whenever he wants. The tension spikes. Then Jinian breaks into a laugh, saying he's just joking, forcing Gongsun to nervously play along. But then Jinian orders him to fetch writing tools, claiming he wants to write a letter. Gongsun complies. Then twist, Jinian tells him to write it instead. He dictates, I Gongsun am sick and need to stay in this villa. Then adds, also my life is too long so I need advice from my master. That line rocks Gongsun. Jinian notices him hesitate, asking why he stopped writing. Gongsun nervously tries to laugh it off, asking him to explain. But before he finishes, whip, Jinian hurls a chopstick, grazing his neck and pinning into the wall behind him. Man literally stapled him to reality. Shook, Gongsun touches his neck, realizing how close that was. Jinian's face hardens as he declares he's no longer the useless Lee Jinian Gongsun knew. The doctor tries to play dumb, but Jinian decides it's time to go full expose. He calls out the soup scam. Healthy folks can handle it, but for a sick body like his, it's poison. And yet somehow a so-called physician didn't know this. Yeah, right. He reminds him he literally made him drink it yesterday. Then this morning he was checking his pulse like a lab rat. And when Jinian told him to just leave the soup on the counter, his face gave away pure killing intent. So Jinian knows there's a bigger mastermind and tells Gongsun to write his master's name. Gongsun first tries to gaslight him, acting wounded, asking how he could suspect such a kind man. Then he drops the act, sneering, eyes full of malice. He mocks Jinian, saying he didn't expect such a brain from a lowlife like him. Jinian realizes the masks are off. Gongsun admits he came to kill him quietly. Worse, he glances at the servants, deciding to kill them too as cover-up. But before he can whip out his poison needle, Jinian blitzes behind him. One clean strike and Gongsun's down. Then Jinian casually goes back to eating like nothing happened. He comments that Gongsun really shouldn't lose focus mid-conversation. Savage. Looking at his bruised fists, he feels pissed. This body is way too fragile. All he needs now is to claw back the insane power he had before. Once he does, he'll be unstoppable, even against the entire Yunha merchant group if they're behind the hit. And for that, one day he'll have to return and dig deeper into Gongsun's ties. But suddenly, he stumbles and drops into a seat, clutching his head as a splitting headache rips through. Flashes of Gongsun flicker in his mind, and then the full memories of Li Jinyon crash into him all at once. When it finally settles, a single tear slips down. He's just learned the sad truth about the body's original owner. The real Jinian was talentless and average, completely outshined by his second and third brothers who were geniuses in strength and brains. In desperation to stand out, he did the dumbest thing possible, burning money on women, wine, and pleasures, which trashed his health so badly that by the time he realized, there was no fixing it. His family pretended to send him away to recover, but this villa was basically exile. And honestly, the clan barely cared if their weak eldest son just rotted away here. Now though, Wu Sung is at the wheel, and he's determined to restart martial arts training, something he hadn't dared before since he lacked the body's memories. He feels pissed at the waste, knowing the original Jinian threw away a perfectly fine vessel, but he'll fix it by using his past life experience to chase rare elixirs. Back inside the villa, his eyes land on stacks of cash. Relief, money won't be a problem. He can buy whatever elixirs he needs. Then he glances at Gongsun's lifeless body, lying there like yesterday's trash, and decides it's time to bury it. From this moment, time skips. A full year flies by like a single breath. One day, two guard squad members, Mok and Sayep from the Yunha merchant group, show up with a letter for Jinian. Mok asks a maid where he is. She points them toward the spot where Jinian is deep in meditation. When Mok finally sees him, his eyes go wide in disbelief, because the man in front of him doesn't even look like the frail, dying scoundrel he remembers. During this year, Wu Sung has pushed his body to the limit, forging himself stronger every single day until his energy core finally manifested. He's re-engraved the foundations, enlightened mobility art, body art, rapid strides, and even mastered the legendary White Lightning 10-phase art, which lets him command the element of lightning itself. Through it all, he's climbed to the 4th phase of martial arts. But to him, still nowhere near enough. His training breaks when Mok nervously greets him, announcing himself. He explains he's brought a letter from the main clan. With calm authority, Jinian tells him to hand it over. Mok, still stunned, can barely process it. Last year this man was coughing blood, now he's radiating strength. Jinian cuts through his daze with a sarcastic jab, reminding him the letter won't deliver itself. Snapping out of it, Mok sits with him as Jinian unfolds the letter. It says his father is gravely ill and bedridden, but no explanation is given why. Mok blurts out his suspicions. It has to be the Ianghu clan, a pack of leeches that constantly demand outrageous protection fees from the Yunha merchants. And those payments just keep ballooning. He asks if they've done anything to actually earn it. The more he talks, the angrier he gets, ranting how they're useless. He even recalls when the Yunha group clashed with the little deity sect, and the Ianghus just shrugged, saying they had nothing to do with it. Classic parasites. Mok adds that even the guard captain is powerless, since the Ianghus have Ianghuhu on their side. That name instantly sparks recognition in Jinian. He remembers this man from his Jianghu days, a famous powerhouse. Now it clicks, Ianghuhu is flexing his strength to bully the Yunha merchants, treating them like weak prey. Jinian decides either Ianghuhu dies or he himself will put this man in his place. Mok is stunned but continues. He explains Jinian's younger brothers recently staged a public sword duel right in front of the clan. Their stupidity enraged their father so badly that the stress literally broke his health. Mok tries to comfort Jinian, saying it's not his fault. But Jinian cuts him off, rising to his feet. He won't sit idle anymore. Mok freezes at the sudden determination. Jinian orders him to hold on to the letter. He'll see everything with his own eyes. Later, when Mok returns to the squad, the first thing he does is spread the shocking news. Lee Jinian has become a martial artist. His comrades burst out laughing. Some joke that if he can do it, then they must all be destined legends. Others say his only talent must be in bed. One cracks that a more believable story would be the vice captain finally getting a girlfriend. Of course, the vice captain Han Yeop overhears this. He suddenly takes interest, wondering if Jinian really regained his health after all. Han declares firmly that Jinian was always built for martial arts. The body itself is gifted. Then he asks when Jinian will return. Mok admits he doesn't know, only that he is coming. Right then, the announcement of Jinian's arrival rings out. Han rallies his squad to greet their young master. They complain, so he sternly reminds them, like him or not, Jinian is their master. Meanwhile, Wusung arrives and finally steps inside, getting his first look at the opulent Yunha Merchant Group palace. Even he's blown away. In his past life, he'd only heard the rumors, but now living as Jinian, he realizes this isn't just wealth, this is insane money. He waves his maids off to rest, saying he'll visit his father alone. As he walks through the halls, he notices the eerie silence. Not a single person greets him. That changes when a whole line of guards suddenly raise their swords in greeting. Han steps forward, remarking how unrecognizable Jinian looks now. He adds how happy he is to see him healthy. The guards whisper that Han's just brown-nosing. After all, in the past, Jinian mocked Han relentlessly for his loyalty. They brace themselves for another insult. But instead, Jinian shocks everyone. He thanks them, saying it's a pretty grand welcome for someone as troublesome as him. Their stunned faces say it all. Mok quickly pipes up, reminding them he told them Jinian really had changed. Escorting him to his father's chamber, Han can't hide a softer look. For once, there's no hostility. Jinian even feels like he finally has an ally in Han. At the chamber doors, Han tells him his father already knows he's here. Jinian nods his thanks. But before they can enter, his youngest brother bursts in. Yaoyan greets him with a sneer, calling him a pervert. Another brother, Yihyun, chimes in, saying he looks like a totally different man. When Jinian dares to glare back, Yaoyan digs his fingers into his shoulder, trying to flex. Han, remembering all the past beatings, quickly intervenes. He doesn't want Jinian humiliated again on his first day back. He carefully removes Yaoyan's hand, telling them both they should be happy to reunite after so long. But Yaoyan snaps, slapping Han for daring to touch him. Yihyun is disgusted, warning his younger brother not to disrespect Han. Yaoyan doubles down, saying he's ready to teach his elder brother a lesson. But before he can, Jinian explodes, slapping him across the face. The hit drops him flat to the ground. Yaoyan stares up in shock, unable to process it. Jinian grips his shoulder tight, letting him feel the raw strength pulsing through. He calmly says he was actually excited to come home, making Yaoyan shriek in pain and curse him as insane. Jinian deadpans back that from now on, Yaoyan will call him Big Brother. Just then, Lee Hyan, the second son of the Yunha group, arrives. He notices the commotion outside their father's room. Asking Han what's happening, the vice captain explains it's the eldest and youngest brothers clashing again. Hyan assumes it's Yaoyan bullying Jinian as usual and rushes in to stop it. But instead, he's stunned to see the complete opposite. Jinian standing tall, scolding Yaoyan to shut up in front of their father's chamber. And then, his eyes catch sight of middle brother standing there too. So Hueyuan steps up in front of Big Bro, and our guy doesn't waste time. He straight up gives Yihyun a punishment drill, hands up in the air like he's doing PE class detention. Hueyuan's low-key relieved, though seeing his eldest brother looking alive and healthy is a massive W. Meanwhile, Yihyun, Bro looks salty as hell, clearly hating every second of this. But Jinian coolly reassures them, don't worry, I'm good now. Then he spots Hueyuan's injured fist, and immediately asks if baby bro Yihyun was the one who did it. Hueyuan tries to shrug it off like nah, it's fine. But our boy ain't buying it. He spins back to Yihyun and slaps him so hard you'd think he installed DLC for extra damage. Lesson of the day, don't raise your hand against Big Bro. Yihyun's forced to shut up and comply, unless he wants another round of face-to-floor therapy. He literally can't believe this is the same weak Lee Jinian who used to massage his shoulders in fear just to avoid another beating. Tables have officially turned, my guy. Hueyuan trying to hide his smile because seeing Jinian clap Yihyun instead of the other way around is chef's kiss poetic justice. After that, Jinian chills out. Hueyuan's curious about his whole glow-up, but instead of answering, our dude just drops, "You got good eyes," since Hueyuan's staring at the scrolls. He flips one open and casually asks what's inside. Hueyuan explains it's the list of employees tagging along to the conference tomorrow. And boom, he spots Gongsun's name on the roster. That's exactly what he was looking for. A quick scan tells him everything. Gongsun and a bunch of others were all recommended by none other than Iang Hu. Suspicious much, yup. So Jinian turns deadly serious and asks his brothers if either of them is working for that snake. Both instantly deny it, swearing they'd never hand the merchant group over. Our boy actually smiles, looks like they're clean, so no need to body his own brothers today. Decision made, he asks if all the higher-ups will be at tomorrow's conference. Nerdy bro confirms. Jinian drops the mic, he's attending too. Before they can say hell no, he's already out the door. His brothers are just left sitting there, stunned at this whole new personality shift. Yihyun though, bro mutters about wanting to go to Juha Mountain too. Meanwhile, Jinian strolls to his father's room and walks in with permission. Dad Si Yongman, the head honcho of the merchant group, spots him instantly. He asks about all that noise outside, but Jinian waves it off and sits like a boss. Then Jinian mentions he heard rumors about Dad being stressed. Old man admits it, saying yeah, the stress is killing him now that his body's weak. Then Dad lifts a hand to touch his son's face, shocked at how healthy he looks now. He even asks if this is really Jinian, and when he smiles in relief, touching him tenderly. Something hits different inside our boy. As Wu Sung, he never had parents. He only remembers a father who is strong and broad-shouldered, a wall of a man. But here, taking his fragile father's hand, he realizes this old lion is barely holding on. He promises to wipe out everything that made his dad like this. Dad doesn't really believe it. But Jinian insists Si Yongman doesn't need to worry anymore, he'll handle it, and his confidence is so intense even Dad starts sweating. Next day, conference room vibes. All the Yunha merchant group higher-ups are gathered, Huayuan's doing the briefing. And yup, the snake himself, Iang Hu, slides in with his squad. His goons immediately notice Jinian sitting there, alive and well. Even Iang Hu locks eyes, assuming Jinian just came to flex his new position. After Huayuan wraps up, he asks if anyone has objections. But before it's smooth sailing, Iang Hu raises his hand like a kid trying to ruin class time. He says he's got a demand. His suggestion, assign a guard to Jinian since apparently he doesn't have one. Naturally, the whole room stirs. People already hate how many employees are Iang Hu plants. Someone tries to speak against it, but immediately gets threatened into silence. Classic intimidation tactics. Iang Hu smugly asks if anyone objects. Crickets, everyone's too scared. Just as he's about to close the deal, our boy raises his hand. Oh, he's got an objection all right. He calmly suggests something different. Fire Iang Hu. Yep, he actually said it. Straight up yeet the squad guard leader out. The merchant group members panic. What a bold move. Meanwhile, the Iang Hu clan starts chuckling, thinking he's trolling. After all, Iang Hu is too important. That arrogance, man. Iang Hu smirks, saying Jinian's been bedridden too long and forgot he has zero right to fire him. And then, oh boy. Jinian slams his fist into the ground so hard the whole building rattles. Then deadpan as hell he reminds them. Doesn't matter how much Iang Hu flexes, Jinian is the real master of this group. He even told Huayuan beforehand he'd fire this snake. Nerd bro thought it was a terrible idea, cause Iang Hu's stronger than them. But Jinian just asked, when weak martial artists get underestimated, don't they get eaten alive? That's right, arrogance kills. Then he points at all the Iang Hu lackeys sitting in the room, proving the group's already half swallowed. Nerd bro finally gets the message. Jinian reassures him, chill, I'll handle this. Huayuan gives a nervous smile, knowing exactly how his bro plans to handle it. Spoiler, it ain't gonna be pretty. Instantly, the Iang Hu clan draws swords, demanding an explanation. Han's furious at their disrespect, stepping in front of Jinian to shield him. But our boy, totally unfazed. He roasts them, saying it's insane for employees to raise blades against their actual employer. And then he drops a death threat in that cold, calm tone. Suddenly, he switches it up, saying he actually feels bad and wants to compensate Iang Hu. Everyone's confused. He explains he's ruined Iang Hu's perfect retirement plan. Yeah, the guy was plotting, first kill Jinian through Gongsun, then stir up the two brothers to clash, which conveniently made their dad sick. So all he'd need to do next was puppet a brother into control of the entire group. Straight up villain playbook, no cap. Iang Hu laughs it off, saying Jinian's just spouting nonsense. But Jinian claps back, nah, your plan fell apart the second I killed your assassin, Gongsun. Iang Hu's eyes go wide, he did what? Our boy calmly explains he one-shotted the assassin, giving him an easy death. Then he casually roasts Iang Hu again. If you want to steal this group, at least make a real plan. Also, I'll be billing you for damages, savage. That's it, Iang Hu snaps. He raises his fist, threatening to kill Jinian. But before the punch even lands clang, Jinian blocks it. Their fists collide and boom, lightning energy erupts, making it crystal clear. Jinian is a real martial artist now. Everyone's jaws drop at the display, our dude's legit. Jinian, ever the troll, remarks how dirty it is to attack someone fresh out of recovery. Then he declares nah, he'll let this slide, cause they're about to make it official. Someone announces the duel. Ayanghu sneers, asking if that's enough. Then, cocky as hell, he says this duel only ends when one of them is dead. Hearing that, Jinian just smirks back. Ayanghu notes how sharp his martial arts are, must have been trained by a serious sect. But raising his sword, he vows to show the difference in their experience. Our boy Lee Jinian dodges that swing like it's child's play. Yeah, he's not here for grandpa level, I got more experience than you, trash talk. He dips low, then drives his fist straight into Ayanghu's gut, flexing that he's rocking a whole 100 years more experience than Ayanghu. No cap. Poor Ayanghu, who's coughing up blood, brain lagging like, how is this man operating on god-tier DLC I didn't download? Meanwhile, Lee Jinian, he switches on his enlightened mobility art, basically speed hack mode, and tells Yu Yang he's about to learn what real experience feels like. Next thing you know, man's moving at lightning speed. He blitzes in, throws a strike, but Ayanghu just barely blocks it with his sword. Now it's full clash mode, Yu Yang slashing with his blade, Lee Jinian throwing bare-knuckle counters, fists versus steel. But every single punch our guy throws keeps getting stuffed by that sword. And here's the kicker, Ayanghu's sitting there like, wait, what even is this technique? Because honestly, nothing about Jinian's style screams rookie. Nope, it's straight up seasoned martial artist vibes. Still, Ayanghu's ego won't let him back down. He's dead set on finishing Jinian off. His squad sees his stance and starts grinning like, finally, Captain's about to end this. With a flex, Ayanghu busts out his three-form sword art, big move. But Lee Jinian's faster, he ducks instantly, activates his rapid strike. He moves so quick, Ayanghu doesn't even register the position swap. Next thing you know, bam, Ayanghu eats a devastating punch right on the jaw. The impact, yeah, it's not just felt. It's literally visible from the main house. Servants peeking out are like, did we just see that right? Meanwhile, Dad's got this smug that's my boy grin and announces, my eldest has mastered martial arts. Perfect timing, pops. Because Yu Yanghu immediately collapses. His lackeys rush over, panicking. One even dares glare at Lee Jinian. But bro gets shut down instantly with a death threat so cold it could freeze lava. Another subordinate finally admits, nah, the duel was clean, no cheats here. But before dipping, he throws out a petty warning. If this is how Jinian wants to play, the Ayanghu clan will mirror that energy against the Yunha merchant group. Translation, revenge arc loading and you can't dodge it. Lee Jinian, man doesn't blink, grudges, please, this ain't his first rodeo. He'll repay whatever he gets, whether it's beef or kindness. Plus, he straight up claims full responsibility for this mess. Hueyuan instantly protests, but Jinian locks eyes with everyone, standing firm, and says even though he claimed the Yunha merchant group as his own earlier, it's not just his, it belongs to his father, to the squad that welcomed him this morning, and every single employee busting their backs there, which means nobody is gonna toy with his merchant group. He closes with a mic drop order, leave, you're fired anyway, savage. The whole squad is buzzing, pumped by his words. Everyone except the Ayanghu clan. They storm off salty, throwing a good luck fighting us later parting shot. And with that, they bounce. One overexcited employee is about to cheer, but another clamps his mouth shut like, bro, remember, that was an official duel. Another guard adds the reality check. We can't even celebrate, we're the guard squad, and instead of guarding, we just spectated the whole thing. Oof. Jinian, he doesn't even flinch at the chatter. He turns to HWA. Ian and goes, yo, bring me an elixir. I took full responsibility for this, I at least deserve that much. Hueyuan laughs, promising his bro he'll grab the best one, then jokes that Jinian's calendar just filled up, dude's about to be real busy. Not just with guzzling elixirs, but also hiring a brand new guard squad. Jinian casually says he already knows some candidates for the job. Meanwhile, cut to a private room, Myung-ho's hearing the report about Jinian's little duel. His subordinates confirm, yeah boss, it's all true. Actually, our boy already had this all figured out days ago, the second he stepped into the Yuna merchant group. He'd been watching and analyzing the employee patterns the whole time. On his first day just walking somewhere, he suddenly stops and asks Han, you eaten? Casual but deliberate. Han, totally caught off guard by the thoughtful question, says no, hadn't had time to eat since dawn because of work. Lee Jinian glances down the stairs. A few Ayanghu clan members are just lollygagging, wasting time in useless conversation. In that instant, he reads the group dynamic. The loyal Yunha merchant group employees grind so hard they can't even grab a meal, while the Ayanghu clan members ride easy money, slacking off on the clock with zero real obligations. Han prompts him again, but Lee Jinian's brain is already on the solution. If he fires the Ayanghu members on the spot, the group loses security, he'll need people to fill those slots. After thinking it through, he knows exactly where to find perfect replacements for those idle employees. So he heads to a shady gambling den. The kind of spot that screams only criminals and sketchballs hang out. The moment he steps in, a few folks lock eyes on him. Some jab fingers calling him a pushover, surprised to see him after so long. A few even mutter he's been dead for years. They assume he came to gamble and prepare to watch him blow his cash. When he enters the main hall, the guard greets him all excited, thinking Lee Jinian's about to drop a fortune. But this Lee Jinian is the man they remember. With a low-key sharp insult, he warns the guard not to touch him. The guard ends up grumpy. No pleasantries, Lee Jinian orders him to open the door. Inside, Chul Myung-ho, aka the poisonous fox, looks at his ex-friend and remarks that his better health must be from a long recuperation. His buddies Yuk Jinbo and Yuk Myung-ho also give him a nod. Myung-ho smirks and tells them to at least ask after Jinian's well-being since he'd been sick so long. The Yuk brothers apologize. While Myung-ho sarcastically claims Jinian is his friend, Jinian scoffs at that so-called friendship. On the surface, they act like childhood pals, but in truth, Young-ho's always used that fake camaraderie, weaponizing it to harass and squeeze money out of him, exploiting his weaknesses. With a straight face, Lee Jinian wonders if the new generation has a twisted definition of friendship. Young-ho doesn't realize what Lee Jinian's actually thinking. Myung-ho pushes him to start gambling, saying it's been way too long. In reality, Myung-ho's itching to fleece him for big money, sure nobody else would be dumb enough to fall for it. Fake-friendly, he insists he'll treat him in honor of his return. When Lee Jinian gives no quick reply, Myung-ho gets irritated and nudges him to speak up. Lee Jinian replies calmly that he's thinking, while his vulture of a friend presses to know what he's mulling over. Instead of answering, Jinian just sits quiet for a beat, weighing whether he should kill Myung-ho or not. To him, Myung-ho's just a useless scumbag he has zero interest in keeping around. The only ones worth anything here are the Yuk brothers, who, despite running with thug energy, actually have skills worth using, wasted under someone like Myung-ho. With that decision simmering, Jinian stands and calmly tells Myung-ho to hand over the key to the vault. Myung-ho blinks, surprised. He asks why Lee Jinian suddenly needs money. Lee Jinian answers evenly, it's just a one-time cash withdrawal. But he adds that the interest Myung-ho owes him for the thousands of nyang he was forced to invest in this gambling den, plus medical compensation for the times Myung-ho had him beat, brings the total to about 100,000 nyang. That should cover it. Myung-ho bursts into laughter. Mocking him, asks if he learned math while he was away. Smug as ever, he points out the vault, as stuffed not just with the cash Lee Jinian's asking for, but with gold, silver, and jewelry. Still, he says, Lee Jinian's crazy if he thinks he's getting any of it. At best, he'd lend him some money if he's desperate, but the vault key? No way. Myung-ho's irritation spikes as he remembers the times our boy moaned about being sick, and now stands healthy, daring to demand the vault key while cold-shooting him. He coldly tells Lee Jinian to snap out of it, reminding him exactly who's standing in front of him. Lee Jinian stays silent. Myung-ho leans in so close their faces almost touch and asks if Lee Jinian wants to die by his hand. Still no answer. Finally losing patience, Young-ho orders his minions to beat Lee Jinian to a pulp. One of the Yuk brothers grabs him from behind, getting ready to slam his head onto the table. Our boy Jinian's face suddenly goes full dark mode. Yeah, this man calls breaking bones being kind. Next second, he snatches one of the Yuk brothers and just yeets him straight into the wall like trash day. The other bro thinks he's slick and charges in. But now Jinian sidesteps smooth, uses the table like it's parkour practice, and boom, snaps the dude's ankle like a breadstick. That's raps. Brother number 2 collapses instantly, screaming "Respawn me bro" vibes. Jinian turns around, only to see both Yuk bros standing back up, bones cracked but eyes looking dead inside. Zero fear, full zombie mode. Instead of freaking out, Jinian's grinning man's fired up, ready to farm exp. The brothers rush him together, but within seconds, our guy vanishes like he hit the shadow clone jutsu. Pops up behind them, speed so broken it needs a nerf. He grabs both heads and slams them together like a busted pair of cymbals. Cold reminder, no more warnings. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. With the Rowdy Twins code, only one clown left, our coward Myung-ho. Bro's been camping behind them the whole time. Jinian spins around with that sinister "your turn" smile. Myung-ho, sweating bullets, tries acting buddy-buddy, says they should tell his boys about martial arts, all while hiding a hand behind his back. Real sus. Jinian's side-eye game strong, he's calm but suspicious. When he steps closer, Myung-ho panics, whips out a knife and warns him to stay back. He's coping hard, reminding himself it's just Jinian, nothing to fear. Sure, buddy. Then dude charges in, thinking one clean stab will end it. Smirks behind the table like it's bulletproof cover. But Jinian casually kicks the whole table aside. Then one punch shatters it into firewood. Myung-ho's left standing there like a Windows error screen until Jinian grabs his head. Calmly drops the line, Counter-Strike wins this time. Next instant, Jinian channels lightning straight through his body, Myung-ho shrieking like Pikachu just overloaded him. Outside, a guard mutters, "Yeah, someone's dying today, facts." After that electric beatdown, Myung-ho collapses, sweating buckets. Man's drenched like he just ran a marathon. His lackey's unfazed, telling him to get a grip. Struggling up, eyes burning with humiliation, Myung-ho wonders what Jinian's been cooking while recovering. Maybe all this training was just for revenge. He tries coping again, thinking, I wasn't that bad, right? But now memories slap him. This is payback season. Nervous, he tells Jinian, ask me anything except the vault key. And bingo, that's the line Jinian wanted. He pauses, smirks. Myung-ho quickly backpedals, saying, but hey, we're childhood friends, so Jinian plays along. Myung-ho lights up like he just got saved. He even hugs Jinian, promising no more bullying. Jinian's disgusted, pushes him off like, bro, your sweet talk's making me sick. But Myung-ho won't quit, starts preaching about friendship, even levels him up to big brother. Orders his minions to greet their big bro. They salute, confused but obedient. Inside though, Myung-ho's scheming. Thinking, this guy used to lick my boots. Soon as I get a chance, I'm out with my guards. Fully convinced he can handle the rest later. Meanwhile, Jinian looks at the twins. Drops wisdom, when I call someone brother, that bonds for life. The Yuck Bros glance at Myung-ho, who rushes them to swear loyalty. Yeah, he's your big bro now. The twins instantly pledge allegiance to Jinian. Myung-ho smiles, thinking things are back under control. Until Jinian goes dark again, ordering them to step aside. He and Myung-ho will decide who's really the big bro. Myung-ho protests hard, but the twins bounce out. Now Myung-ho sweating buckets, clueless about Jinian's true motive. Man-s rattled. Jinian calmly reminds him, he exploited the twins for cash, which ain't it. So now he's taking responsibility for them. Cause the bros are worth way more than money. Myung-ho blows up, accusing him of beating him and stealing his guards. Screams that he might as well just kill him. Jinian shrugs like bet. Kicks him in the jaw on the spot. Coldly praises him, you're doing great. Then treats him like a punching bag. Till Myung-ho realizes, oh crap, this man will kill me. Finally, he mumbles he'll give Jinian what he wants. But Jinian makes him say it out loud. Defeated, he coughs up the vault key deal. Our boy smirks, demanding he beg for his life. Myung-ho tries mocking, asking if he should be more respectful. Jinian instantly throws him aside, bros like, is this man insane? Spoiler, yes. The Yuck brothers catch him, asking if he lost. With no choice, Myung-ho admits defeat and says they now serve Jinian. The humiliation cuts deep, man-s about to cry. For a hot sec, he considers being a decent human, letting the twins live better with the Yunha merchants. But now twins look at each other and say, we ride with Jinian. That sends Myung-ho into another rage spiral. He storms off, muttering about never trusting black-haired people. Now that he's minus the twins, the crowd around him looks hungry for revenge. Security gone, he's cooked. Still, his arrogance flares, screams that he's the poisonous fox, dares them to come at him. And the mob's like, say less. Weapons out, fury loaded. Myung-ho curses his bad luck, bracing for death, but before anyone lands a hit, Jinian steps in, bodyguard mode activated. He clowns the mob, saying they never touched Myung-ho when he was strong, but now want to eat him alive. Weak. Tells them to wait till he's strong enough to fight back. Then orders the Yuck Bros to loot every valuable item in sight. They move fast while Myung-ho just keeps cursing everything, including Jinian himself. Later, they roll up in front of Myung-ho's house. The Yuck Bros actually thank Jinian for saving their ex-boss. That gratitude makes him pause. He remembers the rumors, maybe they were sold to Myung-ho as slaves. Maybe they just followed out of fear. But seeing them still care for him, Jinian smiles quietly, realizing people are way more complicated than they seem. Meanwhile, behind a pillar, someone's lurking, making sure it's really him. And just like that, we're back in the present. But Jihyun, man-s not vibing at all, still whining about how he can't get one chill day until Big Bro comes back. He remembers all the random jewels and money that popped out of the gambling den with the Yuck brothers, and yeah, he's salty. Resentment levels maxed. Then plot twist, a cart rolls in. New supplies, baby. Hueyuan inspects them like TSA, tells the servants to handle carefully, explains the goods are precious and leaves the cart there. Naturally, Yihyun's curiosity kicks in. What's in the mystery box, bro? His eyes sparkle when he spots a 100-year tuber fleece flower, super rare flex. People literally camp at dawn for one. He assumes it's obviously for him. But then Dad steps outside. Hueyuan rushes over, begging him to stay indoors in his sick condition. Meanwhile, Yihyun's brain is running one question: who's Dad giving all that elixir to? He's hopeful maybe, just maybe, he'll snag one. But nope, his face drops the moment he hears it's all for Jinyan. Dad explains after the Ianghu clan mess, one elixir won't cut it. And besides, compared to all the money they blew on Ianghu and that little deity sect, this ain't much. So he hit up every branch head and big name in the elixir biz, begging for top-shelf stock. They agreed, since all their profits are tied together anyway. Big Bro Han supports the decision, confident Jinyan will be a GOAT martial artist. Dad thanks him, ignoring baby boy Yihyun sulking like a Fortnite kid who just lost his skins. Pops declares this is finally the perfect way to spend all the money he's grinded for his whole life. Yihyun absolutely furious. He steps right in Dad's way, demanding his own elixir. Dad stares, then calmly asks if he even needs one, savage. That's the last straw. Yihyun hears nothing but praise Jinyan 24/7. He's convinced it's straight-up favoritism. Still can't comprehend why this guy Jinyan keeps hogging the spotlight. And his answer comes not with words but with action. Jinyan flashes past him at lightning speed, knocking Yihyun flat while dragging a massive boulder on his back like he's farming weights. Bro stares at that sweat-drenched determination. Conclusion: Jinyan already had the build and the confidence, but now he's grinding hard too. That's scary. Yihyun flops back on the ground with a sigh. He glances thoughtfully at his sword like, should I try? Inspired by Big Bro's grind, he starts practicing sword arts on a dummy. He recalls the slick move Jinyan used on Ianghu in their duel. After a while, frustration hits. He can't replicate Jinyan's skill, curses him under his breath. And boom, speak of the devil, Jinyan pops up out of nowhere, jump-scaring Lil Bro. Nervous, Yihyun asks how his walk went. Jinyan shrugs, says he's done. Realizing what Lil Bro's doing, he hands him his sword, tells him to practice Ianghu's move, even throws in some praise. Yihyun's embarrassed. Big Bro's been watching his whole training session. But he takes the sword anyway, charges the dummy with determination. He feels hyped until Jinyan casually calls it sloppy, confidence shattered. Yihyun snaps back, salty at the insult. Next second, Jinyan's fist comes flying. Yihyun barely blocks it with his sword. Jinyan explains how he shut down Ianghu's feint. Close distance forced him onto pure defense. He's literally explaining mid-spar while still kicking at Lil Bro. Yihyun pleads, can't we just talk? Nope, Jinyan's in full training mode. With no choice, Yihyun grips his sword and charges in. But suddenly, Jinyan vanishes. Ambushes him from behind, reminding him that people only show real power when cornered. He draws back his fist, but stops right before impact. Yihyun stumbles back, scared he was about to die. Bro's visibly shaking. Jinyan lectures, stabbing has a lower success rate than slashing. Ianghu used a one-hit kill move, trying a three-form sword style. That technique is deadly, so Jinyan carefully measured his speed to counter, otherwise GG. Raising his sword, Jinyan recalls that match against Ianghu. If he'd had his past life body's full power, Ianghu would have been done before even unsheathing. But right now, he's not even at 25% of what he was as the Fist King, so nah, this win isn't worth celebrating. His mind shifts to those demonic assassins. The realization hits they're still stronger than him, which only fuels his grind set. He must surpass his past life strength. His reflections broken by a maid's voice. She tells him a guest has arrived, then dips. Before leaving, Jinyan flicks his brother on the forehead again. Classic. Elsewhere, a group of dudes are gossiping about the dumb rumor that Playboy Jinyan actually knows martial arts. Guang doesn't buy it until he recalls stumbling drunk into the gambling den last night. There he saw Jinyan with the Yuck brothers hauling loot. He instantly recognized him. But by the time he came back from puking, Jinyan was gone. Jujuru Wang and Sima Guk say they came to check the rumor themselves. They open his door and see Jinyan chilling inside with the Yuck bros. Spotting his jacked build, they slam the door shut again. They ask the maid if that's really Jinyan or some rando merchant's son. She confirms it's him. These dudes look ready to faint. They're trying to process how party boy Jinyan turned into muscle god martial artist. Then Jinyan himself opens the door, jump-scaring them again. Calm as ever, he tells the maid to feed the twins a lot, since their stomachs are black holes. Once the twins leave, Jinyan turns to his old squad, clearly terrified, and asks why they're here. Too scared to answer, they just pray for their lives. Sima Guk Ju Jhe Ring. Plus Guang and Jinyan, these four clowns made up the four heavenly kings. Their life motto, women and wine, nothing else. Now they're all sitting together, finally enjoying a quiet meal for once. Jinian glances at them and remembers Myung-ho, who also claimed to be his friend. But nah, these guys are different. They're not loyal bros, just partners in crime. Their entire universe revolves around booze and girls. Juryong breaks the silence, asking how Jinian been. Guang pokes his muscles, still in disbelief he's actually training. Sima, though, just observes quietly, his build, his aura, concludes this ain't from casual training. Jinian has actually become a martial artist. They press him where to even learn all this. No way he's self-taught. Jinian dodges with a vague just lucky. Sima says it must be like the wild Zhang Hu legends. Juryong admits he almost didn't recognize him. Then out of nowhere, Jinian declares flat, that old Jinian is dead. Their faces drop. Still clinging to hope, Juryong asks what's next. Jinian vaguely says he's got debts to repay, so he's preparing the Yunha merchant group. His goal's no longer to party aimlessly, it's to get stronger. Guang and Juryong whisper to each other, dumbfounded at this character development speedrun. But Sima, he's dead serious. He remembers the time Jinian went to recuperate. But deep down, everyone knew it wasn't rest, it was exile. His father was disappointed enough to ship him off. Back then, Hema tried to keep his spirits up, telling him to use that time to study, change, and come back stronger. Jinian just laughed, promised he'd change, and left before Sima could even send him off. Thinking back on that, Sima now congratulates him for real, for finally turning things around. The room goes quiet for a beat. Then everyone agrees with Sima, remembering how they themselves didn't even bother to show up back then, too hungover of course. Watching them bicker, Jinian sighs, these alcohol-soaked idiots, yeah, they're his real friends. He pours drinks for them, and asks what their plans are now that he's changing. They laugh nervously, nope, they're not built for change. But hey, at least their boy finally stepped out of their shadow. One day of drinking and laughter later, it's time to go. They leave with warm goodbyes, and remind him to call if he ever needs them. On their way back, they keep talking about Jinian's insane glow-up. Sima eventually tells them to just head home. Juryong teases him about getting betrothed, but Sima shoots back, go home and study. They keep bantering until they inevitably end up at the Sweet Scent House, drinking even more. Meanwhile, in that same Sweet Scent House, the sect leader of the little deity sect, Yam Jisung, is losing it over Yang Hu's death. Clan members retell the duel with Jinian blow by blow. When asked what weapon Jinian used, they say nothing. The ex-Fist King only used his fists. That makes the sect leader's face darken instantly. The Yang Hu clan members demand revenge. But the sect leader reminds them, it was a fair duel, revenge is off the table. One hothead protests, saying the leader was supposed to be Yang Hu's friend. He should honor that. Yam Jisung snaps, he owes nothing to a dead man. Then he orders them to take the body away. He even apologizes to his escort for the hassle. After that, his thoughts drift. Another problem, the Yunha merchant group refusing to pay tax. Without Yang Hu as their trump card, they've lost their leverage. A subordinate points out, if the Yunha group won't pay, that means they don't even recognize the sect's authority anymore. The leader agrees. The subordinate asks if he's going to kill them. Yam Jisung shakes his head, they're not some street thugs. The subordinate presses, then what, just let them go. Before he can answer, he notices 3 of Jinian's friends nearby, still chatting about his transformation. He makes sure they hear him as he passes. Loud enough, he muses about how much wealth Jinian and his father must be holding. Sima catches that bait instantly. He bolts back to warn Jinian. Jinian just yawns. Sima insists these guys could strike any time. Especially now, since their guard squad's gone after Yang Hu was eliminated. But Jinian's already thinking about the little deity sect. Mok already gave him the intel. He asks Sima where they are. Sima says in their base. Jinian hands him a robe, put this on. His friend obeys, still asking where exactly. Jinian says the guard squad's warehouse. When Sima realizes Jinian plans to march straight to the sect's base, he freaks. Bro, it's just us two, no plan, no backup. But Jinian, already pulling out a blade, calmly says this is the plan. Then, pressing the knife to Sima's throat, he orders him to guide the way. Poor guy has no choice. Finally they arrive, dozens of guards patrolling the gate. At the entrance, Sima reminds him he's useless in a fight. Jinian tells him to go home, he's going in solo. Sima looks crushed. He warns again, charging in against hundreds of guards is suicide. But Jinian just kicks the door wide open. He's going to do what he's always done. Back when he was Dan Wusung, the Fist King, his rule was simple, never back down. Not as an orphan. Not at his peak. Not now when battle is the only thing he loves. Everyone in the hall turns at once. Jinian walks in like he owns the place, calm, no fear. Where's your leader, he asks. One guard loses it and charges him. Jinian's faster, grabs him by the neck and slams him down in one motion. The guards shout warnings, he's in their den now. The sect leader himself finally steps out, drawn by the noise. Who the hell are you? He demands. Jinian smirks, an assassin. The sect leader laughs, he's never seen an assassin this bold. But then he spots Jinian's bruised fist, and remembers what the Ianghu clan told him. His eyes widen, this is the Jinian. Jinian shrugs, maybe I am. The sect leader grins, this just made his job easier. Seize him, he orders. Our boy flashes back, last time he fought a mob like this. He knows his body isn't at his old peak, but whatever. A fight's a fight. He launches in, fists flying, flooring guards left and right. Some back off instinctively, rattled by the raw power. Then suddenly he freezes. An arrow slices across his cheek from behind. He turns with a smirk, so the sect master wants to play flashy. The leader admits, yeah, this sword's expensive, rarely used, but for someone like Jinian, worth it. On command, the guards pin him down. Dozens more aim bowguns from the roof. Jinian thinks bitterly, so the leader won't even fight alongside his men. Typical. Then he hears Sima's voice. A knife sails through the air. Jinian snatches it mid-flight. In one motion, he deflects every incoming arrow. The shockwave even breaks the guard's grip on him. The sect leader just stares, stunned. Jinian flashes a thumbs up at his boy, then hurls the blade straight at the sect leader. The blade slices so close it practically gives the dude a free neck shave. Our boy drops his voice all dark and gritty, think Batman audition, saying the sect leader is literally the only clown he'll bother to cut with steel instead of smashing with fists. Sect leader starts sweating buckets and screams for his goons to kill him. But bruh, before anybody can even breathe, our guy is already in his face. Fists cocked and ready like he's main eventing UFC. And what does this coward do? Yup, instantly drags his own lover in front like a human shield, certified trash tier move. But in one clean, surgical strike, our man Jinian lands the punch, while at the same time, yanking the poor woman to safety like he's multitasking pro max. He tells her straight, get out. Then he turns back, eyes locked on the sect leader who's now trembling like a cornered rat. Just like everyone else who faces him, the dude realizes, nah, this can't be the Yunha Merchant Group heir. Only a legit martial arts monster could fight like this. So naturally, coward move 2, he tries to buy his life with money. Doesn't even finish the offer, bam. Li Jinian's fist connects and the man goes down like a sack of rice. Our boy, stone cold, tells him he doesn't take cash from someone who values coins more than people. Then proceeds to beat the living daylight out of him. And yeah, ends his miserable life. Li Jinian's face twists in disgust, looking at this scumbag's blood. Done with the trash, he dips out with his buddy and the rescued lover in tow. Sima offers to walk the lady home, Jinian gives the nod. And boom, the squad splits. While walking, conversation time. The woman suddenly clocks Sima's identity. Flustered, he unmasks and she's like, wait, I've seen you at the Sweet Scent House, girl outing him casually. She thanks him big time and promises to treat him to some top-tier wine next time he shows up. Sima waves it off, says he's not showing up for any future marriage deals again. She notes how much he's changed. And with a glance at his friend, Sima says calmly, yeah, he's down for change now. All this while, Li Jinian, he's already daydreaming about breakfast. Priorities, my guy. After freshening up, our boy sits down with the Yuck brothers for breakfast, telling them to chow down as much as they want. These dudes light up like kids in a candy store, 7 meals a day maybe. Jinian, he's just like, sure, why not, no hesitation. Then they notice his busted face and ask about last night, which drags him right back to the memory of that ambush. That hit him harder than he expected. In his old life, this wouldn't have even fazed him, but now it's a wake-up call. He needs to train harder, not just for revenge on the demon faction, but to keep the Yunha Merchant Group solid. Then someone tells him, yo, package delivery for you. He cracks it open, inside a letter. From Guwang, trolling him for only having one drink last night while giving props for his glow-up. Turns out Guwang was supposed to drop something off on Dad's orders but forgot, classic friend energy, so he's mailing it now. Ends the note with a stay strong for the scoundrel gang send-off. Li Jinian pops open the box. Inside, several tuber fleece flower roots aged like 500 years. Dude's jaw drops. These herbs are so op they can boost his lightning 10 phase art to phase 5. Then another pouch, another box. Letter inside says it's from the Taeho Merchant Group to his dad, a friendship token. Li Jinian connects the dots. Dad called in some serious favors with one of the richest groups in the Central Plains. He opens it up and his eyes almost pop out. It's azurite essence. Literal martial artist goldmine. Ranked just below legendary items like moonflower berries or 10k year snow ginseng. People kill for this stuff, no exaggeration. One sniff and Li Jinian knows it's real. He's tasted it before in his past life. The mystery, how the hell did Dad even get this? Without hesitation, he hands each Yuk bro one of the ancient roots, telling them to guard his room while he trains and eat theirs once he's done. One bro stares at it like, what even is this? Lee Jinian explains, it'll buff you, just don't lose it, this is serious loot. One bro's mind blown. Another casually drops that dad had whole stashes of this kind of elixir lying around. Lee Jinian sighs, so yeah, all about money after all. Then he eats the root himself, sits cross-legged and starts meditating for 2 hours. Bitter taste, but he's like, that's martial arts, pain now, reward later. Soon the heat surges through his core and thankfully his body has been prepped enough to handle it. But suddenly, boom, burning pain everywhere. He tries to suppress it, but it's unbearable. Teeth gritted, he decides to just full send it. Channels energy to fight it. Agonizing seconds later, he finally exhales in relief as the pain fades. Core cools down. Then he unleashes his lightning art. With a grin, he's reached the 5th phase, let's go. But then sniff, sniff, his body reeks of alcohol, leftovers from the old Jinian's alcoholism. Smiling, he says goodbye to the old him. Next target, the azurite essence, the real boss level. Problem, most bodies literally collapse under it like a sandcastle in a storm. But he knows he has to tank it. Immediately, he feels the spirit energy wrapping around him, testing him. At first, he suppresses his hunger for power. But now then he flips the switch and pushes back, determined to go crazy strong no matter what. Fast forward 7 days locked in, grinding it out. His nerdy younger bro gets worried. One Yuk brother blocks him, reminding him no one is allowed in. Orders are orders. But before little bro can argue, boom, his room literally explodes. Out he steps, looking like a ghost with purple lightning blazing in his eyes. The Yuk bros are stunned beyond belief. But Hueyuan, the smart one, immediately recognizes the stench. Energy deviation, big yikes. They rush to him as he collapses. Brothers try desperately to wake him up. Hueyuan, panicking, approaches. Lee Jinian raises his head with that terrifying glare. He gets up, staring straight at his bro. Looks less like a man, more like a vengeful spirit. He walks off. Middle bro asks where he's going. Lee Jinian says he needs to cool off, and don't follow. Leaving Hueyuan completely baffled. Next thing, our guy's parkouring rooftop to rooftop, sprinting away from the streets. That azurite essence power inside him, way too cracked he can barely hold it in. His body straight up isn't strong enough for this cheat code. Uncontainable even for the so-called Fist King. So he books it far from civilians, trying to protect everyone from himself. Finally he stops, alone in some deserted wasteland. Power is still going haywire. Our boy is basically a walking nuke right now. He remembers that fatal stab wound from his past life. And decides, screw it, let's let this energy out. Boom, he unleashes it in a monster blast. The shockwave shoots into the sky, visible from half a continent away. Rain starts pouring down, and he just stands there in the storm, looking satisfied like he just dropped his mixtape. He checks his white lightning 10 phase art. And grins, man s jumped all the way to phase 8. Absolute rank up speedrun. Back in town, his clothes are shredded to ribbons from the outburst. People are staring at him like he's the final boss who walked out of Elden Ring. So he ducks into a shop for new clothes. When he goes to pay, the shopkeeper straight up refuses the cash. Why? Because everyone knows this is the guy who bodied the Ianghu clan and the little deity sect, basically the thug repellent of the city. The shopkeeper points at his kids, saying they're safe thanks to him. This is gratitude, not charity. Even the kids run up with an umbrella for him. He finally cracks a smile and accepts. Outside, he looks around at all these peaceful faces and realizes the shopkeeper was right. His fights changed lives. The man's words echo in his head. The people's smiles burn into his mind. And for once he feels something new, a warmth he actually likes. But hold up, peace gets instantly shattered by some loud goons chasing Myung-ho. Chameleon Buddy spots him and greets him with a cheeky smile. Jinian just deadpans about how busy his life's gotten. Same bro. Meanwhile, hard cut to the palace of Myung-chan. The Emperor Assembly is in session, big boy politics time. Dako clan leader Dako Myung is hyping up Mo Yang-bin for rallying all the assembly leaders. Mo Yang-bin shrugs it off like no biggie and strolls over to the Ianghu clan head Ianghu Sian. Topic: the embarrassing death of Ianghu at the hands of our hero. Ianghu patriarch is visibly sweating bullets. Especially since Mo Yang-bin points out Ianghu wasn't just any rando, he was a pro-martial artist, and always messing with the Yunha merchant group. Cue laughter from the Namgong clan leader, and the assembly head dude was one of the strongest and still lost to a merchant kid. Comedy gold. Patriarch tries damage control, saying Ianghu was already exiled, but then darkly vows to make Jinian learn Ianghu clan supremacy. Petty energy. Back on our boy, he and his egotistical buddy Myung-ho are now being chased by the Crimson Reaper Alliance. Why? Because Myung-ho snitched on their downtown scams. Turns out they stole auction books from him. He even shows off his bruised hands and jokes that yeah, he can hear them loud and clear. Jinian, completely calm, tells the goons, "Return my boy once his hands are healed," like he's filing a loan receipt. Everyone mocks him, thinking he's insane. But when he doesn't even flinch, they start to realize this aura ain't normal. Dude radiates menace. Still, hothead's gonna hothead, they prep to throw hands. One punk steps up asking if Lee Jinian really knows who they are, about to drop a big threat. But he doesn't even finish before Lee Jinian casually flicks him into a wall like a baseball. Man's airborne. The gang is shook. Lee Jinian, unfazed, tells them to scram because he's hungry. "If you don't leave, I might kill you out of hunger. Come back later for your beating." Savage. Crimson Reapers finally get the memo and dip. Then Myung-ho, with audacity levels maxed, asks him to buy noodles. Complains that last time he almost died starving after Lee Jinian beat him up. Bro, priorities. Lee Jinian tells him to shut it and just ask properly, then drags him to Jinpyong's noodle joint. Myung-ho finally gets a full meal and beams like it's Christmas. But then he notices something off. Lee Jinian and crew, who used to eat like birds, are now wolfing down food like starving wolves. He orders 4 extra bowls just to keep up. Conversation shifts. Lee Jinian mentions the Yuk twins are fine, training at his place. Myung-ho groans about their bottomless stomachs draining his wallet whenever they're with him. Lee Jinian shrugs, reminds him he's rich enough. Myung-ho snaps back that Lee Jinian loots his cash anyway. Then talk turns serious. Myung-ho asks about Lee Jinian's martial arts secrets. Says he wants to crush the Crimson Reapers, and martial arts might actually help. He spills tea on their leader, hundreds of lackeys at his disposal. They swarm, fights with numbers, then flee when it's rough. Jinian straight up offers to train him. And Myung-ho shockingly says yes. He swears he'll follow instructions. After all, he is the poisonous fox. Next second, Lee Jinian flips the script, demanding Myung-ho bow to him. Man is embarrassed, but he bows, then stands up grumbling that Lee Jinian better teach him properly after this humiliation. Lee Jinian whips out an umbrella, demonstrates a sword wrist swing with it, smooth. Myung-ho is furious. He just bowed and now this clown's teaching umbrella swings. But before he can rage whack, he gets hit by the same umbrella. Lee Jinian orders him to hold it and copy the motion exactly. Says he has to do it hundreds of thousands of times before coming back. No shortcuts. Myung-ho hesitates, bro's arms already crying at the thought. Lee Jinian taunts him, if he can't even do this, forget martial arts. Myung-ho's still unsure, so Lee Jinian grabs his collar for a reality check. Reminds him killing isn't child's play. This umbrella drill will train his arms until he can wreck Crimson Reaper thugs with just a wooden sword. Meanwhile, he's been running from them like a scared rabbit. Deadpan Lee Jinian says, "If you're that pitiful, just die." Brutal. Myung-ho, sweating, insists he doesn't want to die. Lee Jinian calmly asks, "So you gonna be the poisonous fox or stay a rat?" Silence hangs. Then finally, Myung-ho takes the umbrella and walks off with it. Lee Jinian pays the tab and sends him off. Then wonders, will Myung-ho actually commit to training or flake? His mind shifts back to the Crimson Reapers. He decides time to keep that promise and hunt them down. Cut to the Passion House base. Reaper boss is fuming. He's literally beating his own men. The rest are shaking in fear. He demands to know why they let Myung-ho slip away. After hearing the whole story, he still can't stomach the idea. A merchant's son standing tall against his gang, disrespectful. But one underling pipes up, "No cap, Jinian isn't just talk. People say he's the strongest fighter in the Yonghua region." But when dude catches a glimpse of his master's face, he just shuts his mouth real quick. The boss man sends his goons back to the squad that's hunting them down, and with the most deadpan delivery ever, says he wants Myung-ho and Jinian straight up deleted. Meanwhile, our boy is busy grinding lore points about the Crimson Reaper Alliance and its scary as hell leader. One of the Yuk brothers fills him in. Apparently, this gang's entire brand is ripping their enemies apart like it's Mortal Kombat. They've already clapped big shot leaders from sects like Napio Horn, and the list goes on. After every kill, they absorb the leftovers of those sects, stacking factions in the whole Yukon region like they're building an evil empire. The result, every single shop, stall, and side hustle in Yukon is paying tribute cash, whether you sell swords or soup. And guess what? They're targeting Myung-ho for the same extortion scheme. Jinian adds that these clowns even hijacked his old buddy's auction house. The Yuk bros nod like, yeah, that's totally their MO. After hearing all this, our guy knows he's got no choice. If he doesn't deal with the gang now, his merchant group is gonna get dragged into the mud once they figure out who he really is. Cut to the Yukon shopping district. Inside the Passion House, The madam is briefing her crew like it's morning stand-up. Suddenly, a loud shriek, everyone sprints to check on the girl. One escort blurts out she was with the Crimson Reaper boss, but now they're panicking cause another girl is still stuck in there with him. Seeing the first girl's wrecked condition, the madam orders her taken to rest while she herself goes to handle the new guest. Oh, and pro tip to the staff, don't disturb the Crimson Reaper leader unless you've got a death wish. Enter Jongwoo walking up to meet the new guest, who else but our boy. She tries the usual flirty routine, but he's like, nah, cut the crap, where's your boss? Yoonghwa throws back a polite, do you even have an appointment? He shoots back if the leader is upstairs. She hesitates, clocking that he's built different, but admits, yeah, the boss is upstairs. Jinian tells her to evacuate the house cause he's going up, basically a brace yourself warning. She mentions another girl is still inside, and that the leader is insanely strong. But our boy, unbothered, straight to the stairs. Up front the guards try to flex, warning him it's restricted. He keeps walking. One guard dares to block him. Instantly yeeted behind like he's a ragdoll. The rest of the Crimson Reaper guards pull weapons, asking if this clueless guy even knows who he's messing with. He just calmly asks again where their leader is. But nope, turns out the entire floor is stacked with Crimson Reaper members. A mob of them charge in, clearly ready for blood. Jinian, cool as ice, tells them he's here to kill them too, savage. One swings a sword. Our boy grabs his head and tosses him like trash. Another goon lunges. He dodges, then deletes him with his own weapon. Next, he rips open a random door. Wrong room. He literally wonders if he has to smash every door here just to find this clown. So yeah, he proceeds to speedrun, busting every door on the floor. No leader in sight. Fine, next floor it is. Meanwhile, on the 5th floor, the leader is chilling when suddenly, boom, the door explodes open. His subordinate reports, the Chaos Maker is none other than the merchant's son they're hunting. The leader already guessed from the noise outside, casually asking if our boy is here to pay his buddy's debt. Jinian, not impressed, comments that the leader is chilling way too high up. The boss taunts back, asking if he's scared to climb past all the subordinates waiting for him. Jinian walks forward calmly, saying pulling off stunts like that is literally his specialty. Now face to face, the leader looks like a damn giant compared to him. Giant grins, boasting his specialty is looking down on people. One glance at his smug face, Jinian knows this is just another dime a dozen underworld punk. Which makes it easier, zero guilt about smashing him. Then he spots a girl behind the leader bleeding out. Leader follows his gaze, smirks, and says he couldn't control his strength. That's it, our boy is raging now. No conscience, no soul, this guy's trash. Jinian tells him to release the girl, already cooking up ways to end him. The leader notices the fire in his eyes, mocking that everyone who tries to kill him looks like that and they all fail. Meanwhile, chaos outside, people are running for their lives. Someone yells that a lunatic is tearing through Passion House. Turns out the lunatic is not Jinian, but his so-called childhood friend, umbrella in hand, swinging it around and scattering folks like bowling pins. He's officially logged 2,874 swings. But he's still salty, nowhere near his 100,000 swing grind, so he resets the counter. Then boom, a huge explosion shakes the place. He pauses mid-swing, glancing back, wondering if this is his boy's doing. Back inside, Jinian kicks the leader so hard, dude flies out the building, busting through the wall. Our guy doesn't just watch, he jumps out after him, landing like a superhero right in front of the leader. Beaten but not broken, the Crimson Reaper boss gets up, grabbing a weapon. Fully charged, he hurls it at Jinian. Our boy dodges midair like it's an anime intro. He tries again. This time, Jinian calmly snags the chain. The hilt is still in the leader's grip. The leader realizes this kid's strength is actually on par with his. So he drops the weapon and lunges in, planning to finish Jinian with the rebound. He's convinced there's no way our guy blocks this. But Jinian instantly recognizes the move, Meteor Hammer Fist technique. The boss underestimated him, bro's literally a fist king, he blocks it easy. Then cracks him in the gut with a monster punch. The leader screams, clutching his stomach. He finally admits Jinian's style is pure fist mastery and gears up to throw hands for real. His muscles bulk up like he's powering into rage mode. But calm as ever, Jinian just grabs his neck and slams him into the ground like it's nothing. The boss is baffled, how is he losing when he's going all out? Jinian grabs his face, flips his earlier taunt back at him, now you're the one looking up. Then boom, he activates stage 2 of his white lightning arc, still clutching the leader's face who's now shrieking. He pushes the stages higher, all the way to stage 5. The Crimson Reaper goons watch in horror, frozen by fear while their boss screams like he's being roasted alive. One of them whispers it's the legendary white lightning 10-stage art. And when Jinian finally finishes, There's nothing left but ashes where the boss used to be. Rising to his feet, he coldly glares at the gang, demanding who gave them the right to tax hardworking people. Then challenges them if they're so desperate to flex power, try it on him. Their boss's fate will be theirs too. The Crimson Reaper Alliance is shaken but still thinking, he's just one guy, maybe we can still gang up on him. Meanwhile, Mayang-ho watches and mutters that if the Red Reapers really toast, maybe they don't have to pay tribute anymore. One of the Mambus mutters that Jinian might just flip and start charging tribute himself. But Mayang-ho instantly shuts that down, defending his childhood bro. He knows Jinian's already stacked, money's not something he'd ever stoop that low for. Instead, he just keeps grinding umbrella swings, which makes some random passerby whisper, "This dude's insane." But Mayang-ho swings on anyway. Mid-swing, he recalls when Jinian once asked him if he really wanted to live like a rat, or a poisonous fox like he always claimed to be. Deep down, he knows everyone has that spark inside, and it's on him to nurture his own. He gets that his friend's obsession with strength borders on madness, but then he freezes. Watching Jinian demolish Crimson Reaper goons, he shouts out that he's not a rat, he's the poisonous fox. Meanwhile, after wiping out the entire Crimson Reaper crew, Jinian doesn't even wash off the blood before his nerdy brother barges into his room. He tries to play it off, claiming he was just out for drinks, but his middle brother clearly came for advice. The concerned one still wants answers about the blood. Jinian reassures him it's not his, which the brother already guessed. Finally, Huyen gets to the point. He wants to send gifts of gratitude to merchant groups that supplied them with rare elixirs. First up, Taeho Merchant Group, but he needs to know how valuable their medicine really was. Jinian remembers they're the ones who sent the azurite essence. He replies it's priceless, way beyond anything he could ever measure. His brother is left stunned, unable to imagine how to repay that. Jinian says sending goods or cash won't cut it. Instead, he suggests something bigger, forming a merchant alliance. He explains that aside from big names like Taeho, there are smaller outfits like West Escort that have no real protection. An alliance could safeguard them while also serving as repayment. Huyen hesitates, thinking it's too ambitious. Jinian advises starting small, just Taeho and Westwind Escort for now. Nerd Bro's already in planner mode, asking about fees and rules. Jinian says keep it free and simple. His brother asks what the alliance's purpose should be. Jinian recalls what the escort rep once told him. Back when he drove out two gangs, they'd asked for his protection. So he declares the alliance's mission, protect merchants' lives. Plus, set up a proper communication line so they can call him when things go south. His brother raises a concern. What if even huge groups like Taeho face threats? Like say if the Jianghu underworld comes after them, what then? Jinian answers firmly he'll handle those matters personally. That makes his brother uneasy. But Jinian reminds him, since those merchants gave him medicine that made him this strong, this is the least he can do in return. Next problem, what to name the alliance. Huyen suggests Great Merchant Alliance. Jinian vetoes it, saying it sounds too much like the Crimson Reaper Alliance. Instead, he dubs it the Great Merchant Association. At this point, Huyen sighs, mentioning how his workload skyrocketed ever since his scoundrel brother returned. Jinian apologizes. But Huyen just smiles, saying busy merchants are better off anyway. Right then, a subordinate runs in panicked. He yells that a new problem just dropped. Turns out, Lord Iang-hu and his disciples have personally arrived. Sure enough, they're already sitting in the main hall. Iang-hu is still seething over the humiliation he suffered back at the Rulers' Association. He tells his disciples each will fight Jinian in turn. He wants him to die slowly, painfully. One win won't restore their family's honor, after all. The disciples nod without question. Then Shin Sobek asks if the others are going barehanded too, since he's ditching weapons. Iang-hu agrees to fists, but Woon hesitates. He plans to fight with a sword. His brother mocks him for it, but Woon defends himself, pointing out that Jinian already beat Iang-hu, who is stacked with Young-hu experience. Iang-hu scoffs, saying Iang-hu was weak anyway. Finally, he arrogantly orders servants to summon Jinian directly. Instead, the Yuk brothers show up, announcing that the challengers are invited to the annex by their master. Soon enough, the guests stand before Jinian, who's already waiting. He greets them calmly. Each martial artist introduces themselves one by one. But Jinian is caught off guard to see Lord Iang-hu himself there. Iang-hu apologizes for dropping in unannounced, but admits he couldn't resist testing Jinian's strength. Jinian gets the picture, they want a duel. He asks about the rules. Iang-hu proposes all his disciples fight Jinian, claiming they want to learn. The rules are simple: lose consciousness, can't move, or fall off the ring, that's game over. Straightforward enough. Jinian accepts and signals to begin. First up, Mayang. Iang-hu smirks, confident his son will win. But Mayang already senses this isn't just a merchant's kid. He feels like he's facing a seasoned Younghu warrior, which makes him realize Jinian's win over Ayang who wasn't a fluke. Jinian asks if he wants a weapon, but before Mayang can spit out a cocky answer, he eats a punch so hard it rockets him straight into the far wall. Lord Ayang who crushes his cup in shock. Jinian casually reminds them he gave him the option to use a sword, then calls for the next challenger. Woon steps up asking Shin to look after his brother. Shin nods. Facing Jinian, Woon gathers all his strength and techniques. Jinian actually encourages him to go all out so the fight's worth it, and the match begins. Without hesitation, Woon draws his sword. He charges, blade slicing toward our boy. But Jinian dodges with ease. He also notes Woon's legit skills. This guy is a real swordsman. Still, Jinian's sharper. After studying Woon's patterns, he dodges every swing barehanded, cool as ever. Time for him to go offensive. He powers up with the 5th phase of his lightning art, then dials it back to the 3rd to balance it. Woon braces, swinging his sword to block, but Jinian unleashes a lightning roar straight at him. One hit, Woon is down. Ayang who can't believe it. Mayang suggests they end this now. If all three lose, the shame will be unbearable. But Shin refuses to quit. He wants this chance to fight someone who relies purely on fists. After all, his own specialty is palm strikes. He formally asks for a spar. Jinian sees his fists and actually gets hyped. Finally, a real challenge. And so the two fist masters collide. The battle rages, Shin striking non-stop, Jinian weaving and dodging. Shin grows frustrated, annoyed that Jinian's only defending. So he commits to his ultimate move, determined to see how Jinian blocks it. He launches the whirlwind wheel-crushing palm. A tornado erupts, surging straight at Jinian. Jinian grins, impressed, but says it's too big. Calmly, he grabs Shin's leg mid-attack. Shin howls in pain. Jinian slams him into the ground, commenting that it was a good duel. Meanwhile, Mayang sulks, realizing they've gained nothing but shame from these defeats. Our guy clocks Lord Ayang who's sour face, but honestly, Leon has no idea why this dude's suddenly mad-dogging. Meanwhile, Ayang who's over here shaking like he just realized Jinian's basically untouchable. No cap, bringing in more people is just pointless. The real L, if they lose, the whole ruler association's pride gets dumpstered, and his clan's gonna be the laughingstock. So big brain Ayang who decides to pivot and casually invites Jinian for a walk to the market. He notices the chill vibes of the place and starts small talking like, "Yo, you must have mad suppliers here, huh?" Then, without wasting a beat, he drops the big offer, membership in the ruler association. He even explains Jinian doesn't gotta drag his whole merchant squad, he can just join solo and still get protection. Our boy is stunned. Because hello, this club already has all the big-name clans signed up. But Jinian isn't dumb. He points out this association is literally made of clans that ditched the Murim alliance, which used to be ruled by the 9 great sects. Ayang who's like, yeah, but chill, we're just friendly rivals. Sure, bro. Jinian remembers hearing that the Ayang who clan only hopped on this bandwagon recently, and now, after catching an L, they're desperate to save face. Ayang who basically admits it, also confesses his boy Ayang who was out there spreading clown rumors about Jinian, tanking their clan's rep. He insists he personally got no beef with him though. That's why he's begging Jinian to join to patch up their face. He figures flexing that someone like Jinian is under me is his only saving throw. Our guy asks straight up, and what if I say no? Ayang who tries the salesman pitch, you lose nothing my dude, as a merchant's son you should get that. But Jinian fires back, why would I join some martial arts club when I'm already stacked with cash, savage? Then he dismisses him, conversation over. That's when Ayang who absolutely loses his cool, threatening to massacre Jinian's entire squad. That one actually makes our boy pause. He warns he's got enough power to wipe out the whole merchant group while sparing Jinian. And he'll spin it so Jinian's branded a public enemy. Basically, do you really think you're soloing an entire clan, let alone the whole ruler association? Bro's still mid-rant about taking the throne when, boom, he eats a monster punch from Jinian. Our boy tells him straight, I'll kill you first, then erase your whole clan. He even threatens to pin it all on Ayang who's eldest son. So yeah, don't test me. Ayang who's still got the gall to clutch his pearls like, that's the most shameless crap I've ever heard. Then he whips out his signature move, Poison Toad Broad Strike. This is a big deal. Ayang who specialists train this just to fight the leaders of the 4 great clans. He's cocky, thinks Jinian can't possibly tank it. But mid-flex he freezes. Because Jinian's literally spitting lightning that eats the poison alive. Absolute dog walk. Next second, Jinian decks him again, sends him flying into the wall. Collapsing on the ground, coughing blood, GG Ayang who. Our boy roasts him on the spot. Wow, you're way weaker than you pretend. Ayang who, bloody and pathetic, tells him to just finish him now. Either way, you'll be a public enemy. He swears the ruler association will be on his neck, no matter what, you're doomed. Jinian leans in, whispering cold as hell, I'll make you regret saying that for the rest of your life. Cut to later, everyone sees Jinian dragging Lord Iang-hu by his hair. The whole squad is shook, especially his sons. Mayang tries to step up, but Jinian shuts him down. You want dad's punishment too. Another son panics about daddy's health, but Jinian says he's still alive for now, orders a carriage on the spot. Eldest son demands, why the hell are you doing this? Jinian lays it bare, your dad threatened to wipe out my people and frame me. Everyone's stunned, like jaw on the floor stunned. Then our boy declares he's taking this matter straight to the ruler association, bringing Iang-hu's own guards as witnesses. But Shin chimes in, plot twist, the ruler association doesn't even have an HQ. Instead, meetings happen at the clan leaders' homes, closest one Moyang clan estate. So Jinian orders his crew and the Yuk brothers to babysit Iang-hu's sons and disciples. Then tells his middle brother to file a report with the Murim Alliance about today's madness. Squad packs up for the Moyang estate. Meanwhile, inside the carriage, Iang-hu, tied up like a Christmas turkey, asks where they're headed. Jinian answers, calm as ever. Then Iang-hu plays the sympathy card. Hey guard, can I get some water? The guard hesitates, low-key checking if our boy will allow it. Jinian just stares, amazed that a clan lord's out here begging for water. Suspicious. He instantly realizes this guy's an assassin in disguise. Cue lightning burn, toasted. Driver freaks out, asks what happened, but Jinian tells him to keep rolling. Then he questions another guard about their little assassin club. Dude admits they're from the gold-silver assassin group. They rank by gold or silver, he's only silver. Jinian asks Iang-hu how much this gig cost. Iang-hu stays quiet. So our boy threatens to break him apart. Iang-hu folds, says he paid 800 nyang, way above standard. Jinian claps back, it wasn't worth it, bro. Because the plan was to let the assassin group kill him after wiping his people. That's how clans keep their hands clean, higher than erase the assassins. Basically, his life's only worth 800 nyang, brutal math. Jinian even throws shade at the assassin, train harder, maybe your life will be worth more. Then he goes darker, anyone who kills for cash ain't even human. And he sarcastically claps for the assassin's so-called purpose. He casually points out of their 3 assassins, one's injured, one's dead, do the math. Finally, they roll up to the Moyang estate. Everyone there recognizes Iang-hu immediately, double take when they see him dragged in like trash. Enter Moyang Bin, clan leader. He checks Iang-hu's condition, then introduces himself to Jinian. Our boy introduces back. Though he's low-key confused, last time he checked, Moyang Chu was still the boss. Bin presses, why is Jinian parading Iang-hu in like some criminal? Jinian spills the whole tea, everything from threats to assassins. One subordinate freaks out, this is serious, Murim Alliance will hear about it. Bin waves him off. Instead, he asks what Jinian's real goal is in coming directly to him. He assumes Jinian knows the ruler association is crazy dangerous, so maybe he's just revealing the truth early. But our boy flips it, asks Bin what his strategy is to handle this. Bin says straight, the move is to erase the danger. But murdering Iang-hu sang outright. That would turn the whole Iang-hu clan into enemies and put Jinian under Murim Alliance surveillance. Messy. Right then, Iang-hu starts crying out at Bin, blaming him for the whole mess. Your mockery pushed me into this. Then he begs for help, promising anything. Bin smacks him down, calls him shameless, zero dignity left. He orders his men to lock up the assassins alive for questioning. Then apologizes to Jinian for all the chaos, promising the ruler association won't back Iang-hu anymore. He even invites Jinian for a meal. Our boy accepts. Soon the food is laid out. Jinian digs in happily while Bin sits there baffled. How the hell does a monster like Jinian even exist? Bin tests him, asking what strategy he'll use to wrap this up. Since killing Iang-hu isn't an option, gotta play it smart. Jinian flips it again, asks for his plan. Bin lays it out, he'll send Cian to the Murim Alliance, shifting all blame to Iang-hu's clan. Plus, to save face, the ruler association's willing to eat the damage. The other clan leaders will agree. Jinian likes the idea. Then he asks if former clan boss Moyang Chu ever did the golden basin hand washing retirement ritual. Bin chuckles, Jinian's a little late on his Young-hu world gossip. Turns out Bin drops the bomb, his dad's been missing for a whole year. So yeah, he basically had to step up and take the role by default. Bin explains they even sent out a search party from the main branch, but came back empty-handed, zero trace. That's when our boy's brain lights up, hold up, that's the exact same time he reincarnated into Jenon's body. Which means if he popped in then old man Chu probably popped out, R.I.P. He presses Bin, asking if Chu had beef with the demonic faction. Bin shakes his head, the demonic faction's been ghosting for 20 years. If they were active again, he would have noticed. Plus, why would they even bother targeting his dad? Doesn't add up. But our boy flashes back to his previous life. He also had zero ties to the demonic faction, yet still got ambushed and smoked. So yeah, it tracks. To test the waters, he asks, if your dad got jumped by a squad of swordsmen, how far would he make it? Bin scoffs, his father ain't losing to some random blade scrubs. Jinian smirks, okay, but what if those swordsmen had blade-proof bodies? That one stuns Bin. Our boy then recalls that last fight with the assassins. Dude literally fried them with 9th phase lightning and they still lived. And he knows his current body's so juiced that no normal human could possibly tank 9th phase lightning straight to the face. So if those guys ate it and didn't insta-die, then facts, they had some blade-proof cheat bodies going on. If guys like that exist. Plus the sorcerer who once hijacked his body, if they teamed up, forget it, that's endgame level. Only a beyond heaven tier being could even touch them. Which means Bin ain't ever finding traces of his father or the demonic faction. But Jinian's still stuck on the real mystery. Why are these freaks staying hidden and what's their actual goal? Meanwhile, cutscene to a creepy, secluded spot. A woman with the title Heavenly Demon is out here addressing a dude straight up called the Sword Demon.